When you put finish on it, there's nothing like it. I know I had probably 40 orders in there. Yeah, my mailbox is gone, brother.
Oh, man, I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
I saw it last night.
I appreciate you.
Brent Corsi built a dream restoring wood.
You know, you just get up and go to work every day. I've been doing this, like I say, 25 years.
He never dreamed he'd be looking at this.
Don't know what to think about this.
A fire you could see for miles broke out at Vintage Woodstock Lumber Monday night.
Yep.
Reducing his passion to rubble.
She was hot.
Nearly everything was destroyed.
See if my pride and joy's good shape.
But his most precious pieces were untouched.
We didn't have that service last night. That's good.
Now it's not only his dream.
I got probably 9 or 10 guys down there
that he's determined
are depending on me, so I'm
to restore.
gonna figure something out. Get this place cleaned up.
Anyone can be a light to someone else. No one understands that better than a woman who works next to the lights of this busy Hendersonville intersection. At a place with a pretty familiar light. Orders are coming in for Big Macs, piping hot fries, chocolate shakes, and Donna Neal,
Now serving guest number 372.
is getting it all out fast.
Thank you, have a good day.
On to the next one.
Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all doing all right today? 6-piece nugget, please. Drop 1 basket of fries, please.
What's in your Happy Meal?
A toy.
Taking this many orders, getting it right, keeping the customer fed and happy. There's a lot of responsibility.
Thank you, have a good day.
And that is what Donna teaches the many foster children she's taken over 15 years.
Kind of done lost track, probably maybe 160.
160 teens.
I can be a great impact in their lives.
Many of those teens have worked for Donna here at McDonald's.
I can help you.
This pace teaches them hard work and life skills. That includes Becca.
I was in foster care when I was born, and I've jumped from home to home. Things just didn't work out.
And there are so many stories like Becca's. Taking children of all ages into account, across the state of Tennessee, there are 4,555 children in the foster care system right now. Of that, 41% of them are teenagers. Those numbers come from youth villages, where people like Brittany Farrar work to get children fostered and adopted.
Over the age of 8, their likelihood of being adopted is around 20%. So we have a lot of young people that are aging out of the foster care system.
In fact, looking at the number of children in the system here, about 1,000 of them will age out this year. These are troubling numbers for youth villages. Farrar says that's a lot of children to never have a complete family photo.
These young people want a home. They want someone that's going to provide stability and permanency for them. Older children that are in foster care are often there not for their own actions.
Instead, Farrar says something else is playing a major factor. She says since 2010, the number of mothers and fathers who have lost their parental rights has more than doubled, with Tennessee's opioid crisis playing a significant role. And those children who age out of foster care are at higher risk of poverty, homelessness, unemployment, addiction, relationship problems, incarceration. Knowing all that, Donna decided to change a life.
She was part of our family.
She's adopted Becca.
When she told me she never met her family, she kind of touched my heart.
I was excited to hear that I got accepted into college.
I really wanted to cry, but I always try to be, try to be tough and, don't let my feelings show a lot. but I'm happy for her.
She's the best thing that has happened.
Donna says there are so many people out there who can be a light. She's so glad she could be one for Becca.
She's happy. I'm happy. We're family. I would say the parents out there, give back, because you might be able to save somebody's life.
In Hendersonville, I'm Boris Sanders, News 4.
Now, folks, this is the reality for a lot of homeowners today. Their yards looking more like rivers and lakes. This is what it looked like in front of a home near Old Nashville Highway. A lot of the flooding we're seeing is due to nearby creeks overflowing into neighborhoods.
Several roads are closed in Rutherford County as well. This is along Christiana Fosterville Road right here. News 4 crews saw cars make the right choice in this case and turn around instead of driving through that pooling water. Now, keep in mind the system is ever changing and the water there is likely even higher right now. Right now, our News 4 crews are placed strategically across Middle Tennessee.
They are talking with neighbors and monitoring the flooding causing problems right now. In fact, crews are set up in Bellevue at the Harpeth River. In Murfreesboro, residents are seeing flooding around their homes. Crews are also in Laverne with significant flooding in yards, and also in Antioch, where water has made its way inside homes.
The Harpeth River is rising, making people who were here 9 years ago quite apprehensive. Bellevue was one of the hardest hit communities in the 2010 flood. News 4's Rebecca Cardenas live at the Harpeth River for us tonight. Rebecca, that river nearing flood stage.
Yeah, it's only about 4 feet away, Tom and Tracy. Right now, this river at 16 feet. It floods at 20 feet. Probably not hard to believe. This water already coming out of the banks of this river, a very significant distance. A lot of these trees almost entirely submerged. And just to give you an idea, the water when we got here 3 hours ago was all the way back there, and now it has reached where I'm standing. So it has certainly moved a significant amount in just a short amount of time. Probably understandable why some of the residents here are nervous, though. A man born and raised on Highway 10 calls it unnerving, the forecast. He says the fact that we haven't even hit peak rainy season yet is nerve-wracking.
It happened really fast. It came out of nowhere. It felt like 3 days of rain, which is what this feels like.
To see how much rain this storm brings in the next one, and I think it's in pretty good shape right now.
Now, as you just heard there, not everyone is terribly nervous about all this rain that's coming just yet, but we did see several people here along the river this morning on this trail checking on the Harpeth River just to see how it's doing. We, of course, will be monitoring it closely for you, so stick with us here on News 4. Tom, Tracy?
Rebecca Cardenas live for us tonight. Rebecca, thanks. Many viewers like you are sending us pictures and videos of what your neighborhoods look like right now. Let's take a look at what some of these yards look like in Rutherford County. Man, look at that. You can see front yards covered in water. City fire, rescue, and police departments are urging everyone to keep your guard up. It might not be raining all that hard right now, but flooding is still a big problem and concern. The Nashville Emergency Operations Center tweeted out a list of road closures you're going to need to know about, along with the hashtag turnaround, don't drown.
And right now, our 4-1 weather team tracking the next round of rain headed our way.
They've been very busy. Let's turn things over to Dan and Lisa in the 4-1 Weather Center.
Well, we are keeping a close eye on what's going on. We've got a few showers left out there right now that we'll watch.
But the ground is soaked as the next round of rain moves in late tomorrow. Likely we'll get into some flooding again first thing Friday morning.
And here's what we're seeing right now as we look a little farther off to the north. We are seeing some showers here. And we've got just this tight little ribbon right through here that's going to be working on to the east and headed into the Nashville area. And then as we look into Gainesboro, we're seeing some showers there over to Lafayette. All this is moving towards the east. Monterey seeing a few showers there. And another little batch right there in Murray County moving across 65. And then some of that heavier rain is over in the Cookeville area moving on out. But right here around Spring Hill, you've seen some of those showers, and folks traveling down the interstate also seeing a bit of that. Now, as far as how much rain we have already had, it's been around 1 to 2 inches of rain in some spots, a little bit more down to the south. But you can see there's one popping up at 2 inches, near 2 inches here and over to the east. But that just shows you how much that saturated ground really impacts our potential for flooding. And that's why we still have some river flood warnings that are in effect. The Tennessee, also the Duck River, the Shoal River remain under those warnings, as well as the Buffalo River. Dan?
All right, Lisa, what we're seeing over the next several hours is that rain chance really coming down. This is for Nashville, so it's a little higher than that in eastern Middle Tennessee, but 30% 7 o'clock, 20% 9, and then whittling down to 10 or even 0 first thing tomorrow morning. So this wave of rain, round 1 is almost done. Couple of drips and dribbles here and there, and maybe an additional 1/10 of an inch over toward the Cumberland Plateau. But here's the weather setup late tomorrow night and early Friday morning. Very heavy downpours moving back in with yet another warm front, and that means downpours and thunderstorms and several more inches of rain still to come right through the end of the weekend.
And we'll have more on the timing of this next round coming up.
Okay, we will see you soon. We want to put our eyes on the roads right now. Our evening commute here at 5:05. This is a live look at I-40 at Fessler's Lane. You can see it's pretty heavy heading home this evening, but hey, it's moving in both directions right now.
Glad to see no accident, at least in that video. Before we go any further, make sure you have our Forewarn Weather app downloaded on your phone. You're going to get important weather alerts directly in the palm of your hand. You'll also find our 7-day forecast, any school closings, and you'll know the minute weather has moved out of the area. That's important. Crews are telling Rutherford County residents tonight to be careful out there. Nearly 20 roads in the area shut down today while schools let out 2 hours early. That is where we find News 4's Forrest Sanders. Forrest, what's it looking like right now where you are?
Passed. Now, this whole area is taped off, and sheriff's officials have been telling people to just turn around. You can see why. There are deep areas like this all the way down to Shacklet Road, which is about a half-mile away. Now, a neighbor told us these water levels are a problem for getting out of driveways, but this isn't anywhere close to the levels of the May 2010 flood. And at least the water isn't close to any houses through here. Now, the road closures are all over Rutherford County. These streets in the city of Murfreesboro will be closed overnight. Malloy Lane, Armstrong Valley, and Cherry Lane. And we do have to caution people that we have been to some areas out here that have been completely taped off, but then cars will come and plow right through that tape. So there are spots that are supposed to be taped off, but do not have that tape because those people just went right through it. Tom and Tracy.
Forrest Sanders, thank you very much for that live report. For a homeowner in Antioch, his stress level goes up as the chance for heavy rain goes up. Alan Frio in Antioch tonight. Alan, we know this is quite nerve-wracking for him.
Yeah, this is really something very difficult to deal with. James McCoy, who lives in this Antioch neighborhood, has been dealing with flooding issues for years now. Now, take a walk with me and you'll see what the neighborhood is like. It's pretty highly elevated. It does not sit on a floodplain at all. So these people here should not be dealing with flooding issues at all, but they do. So here's what happens at this point. Water has to go somewhere, so gravity takes over. On its way down the hill, the water pond's right at James McCoy's house. For days now, McCoy has been holding his breath with downpours on the way.
As the chances of rain increased, so did the anxiety level as well. We paid attention to that, of course, 3 days out. If it was going to be a 60, a 70, 80% chance of rain, we became very anxious.
Yeah, good reason to be anxious, too. Take a look at where all that water begins to build up. Inside concrete blocks in McCoy's basement. Workers today drilled holes in the blocks to drain it all. We could not believe the water that was coming out of that small hole in that basement. Now, it's that hidden water that can cause all sorts of foundational problems, and that's why McCoy spent $8,500 to get a perimeter drainage area, and it also has a sump pump that kind of whisks all of that water away. He had to invest in it, and this way, when everybody's calling for showers and thunder showers and really heavy downpours, he doesn't have to hold his breath from here on in.
Every one of the houses has a name outside. All these people who are working out here are working to change the story of that name. And one of those names has quite a story to tell. Hard at work.
So have we finished this one?
Brenda Wilson tells people just how important it is to wipe the slate clean, allow yourself a new beginning. That's something she had to learn.
I'm an addict in recovery. I suffered with addiction for many years.
Brenda's new beginning came when she found this place. Thistle Farms gives jobs to women who have lived through human trafficking, domestic violence, addiction. Brenda works here in the shop, selling beautiful things, using her story to help others.
Its purpose is to love, heal, and empower broken women like myself.
And this day is part of Brenda's new beginning.
This is my new home.
This Habitat for Humanity build is bringing Brenda a place all her own.
It blows my mind. This is the most spectacular thing that's happened to me. I feel like my mom would be so very proud of me right now. And she saw me in my addiction, and she used to just tell me all the time how she had faith in me.
And to someone out there who's living with drug addiction, Brenda wants that person to know this.
Being an addict wasn't a death sentence. We do recover.
So the work continues throughout the week, and Brenda is going to be able to move into this place in just a few months. In North Nashville, I'm Forrest Sanders, News 4.
When Jimmy Carter took the Ryman stage on opening night, you felt the power his presence was already making in Music City. March, march on. The Fisk Jubilee Singers. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood kicking off a musical thread to be woven throughout the week. Day one on the build site begins with a devotion from the 95-year-old former president himself, with 12 stitches and a black eye after falling 2 days earlier.
You can decide to reach out and help other people, or be stingy and take care only of yourself, right?
Also making Monday headlines, rain in a desperately dry Nashville. It makes for a sloppy start for the hundreds of volunteers helping build 21 homes from the slab up. Famous faces flock to Park Preserve neighborhood all throughout the day.
Yeah, I bent the first nail. It was a bit of embarrassing. It was on the wrong side of the thing for somebody who's right-handed, but getting the hang of it a little more as we go here.
Day two, drier and determined to add porch beams and blue board. The Titans spark some extra energy. Volunteers say nothing adds more meaning, though, than getting to know the people, soon to call these houses home.
It blows my mind. This is the most spectacular thing that's happened to me.
There's people out there that need homes, and everybody needs a hand up, so why not give?
We would like to offer to, if you guys can find that, whatever that number is to put in the budget, that we would like to, as a couple, match that up to a certain number.
Day three begins with breaking news. Garth and Trisha tell legislatures touring the build site they'll match whatever money they earmark for Habitat. Are you ready to take the torch, pick up the torch from them when they're ready to pass it along?
No one will be able to carry that torch.
We also sit down with the namesake himself. We talk the White House, what he still hopes to accomplish, and, of course, what do you think? We're here in Music City. I've got video of you singing, or at least chanting, with Dizzy Gillespie, Willie Nelson over the years. What music are you listening to these days?
Well, recently we've been infatuated with country music.
As the next days dawn, the neighborhood fills out.
Get up with the gambler.
We sing along.
You've got a friend.
And remember the many musicians and marching bands serenading volunteers who've come to the Carter Work Project, putting faith in action on this magical week in Music City. And we're
Pulling from the blues, from the oranges. Artist Omari Booker tells stories on canvas of North Nashville, of Jefferson Street.
As an artist, you just have your eyes open and you're
You're looking at what's going on around you.
And there's a lot to see. A jam session at Jefferson Street Sound. A chessboard set up at Headliner's Barbershop. The old clubs played host to the greats, Little Richard, B.B. King, Jimi Hendrix, Ike, and Tina Turner.
Yeah, I hope to be able to kind of paint the way that I see it. That's colorful and energetic, a lot of love. It's a very special place.
But for a sense of true history in his storytelling, Omari knew he'd have to find someone with deep family ties to Jefferson Street.
I am fourth generation of family that has lived here. Our great-grandparents purchased it in 1920, 2518 Jefferson Street.
Lois Freeman remembers a very different Jefferson Street from her childhood.
There was a drugstore at one point, hardware store, your movie theater, everything. We had the self-contained community, especially in a segregated world.
Well, it used to be quieter.
The memories tend to come flooding back, sharing a porch with Barton Harris.
Lois is my sister, older sister.
They were young children during the Nashville sit-ins when people worked to end the segregation of lunch counters downtown. Some of those sit-ins were planned from inside the homes on Jefferson Street.
The elders in the neighborhood are the ones that have experienced it in a really, really visceral way. As younger people, it's our job to listen and continue to tell that story.
But what changed Elois and Barton's world came with the arrival of I-40.
It split the African-American black community up.
Separated us from our schools.
At that time, you felt it, that you're disregarded, that you're being attacked.
Today, Elois still sees barbershops, beauty shops, schools, and education. But her neighborhood, as she knows it, is changing again.
That progress means pushing some out. The people who've been here, who've had the heritage, that's your wealth. That's your wealth. That's your wealth.
The offers have been coming in to buy up 2518 Jefferson Street.
Everything's not about money. It's about your soul. It's about your family. There are many who are saying no. And so we're amongst those.
And in that, Omari found a story to tell and had an opportunity for it to be seen by many. An exhibit at the Frist Art Museum shares murals of North Nashville artists. Omari's piece is created of razor wire, of building materials, and features a familiar face sitting on a porch.
I'm usually inspired to try to tell some story that will help push community forward. So yeah, gentrification ended up being that issue.
In the midst of all the social changes, economic changes, this house represents stability.
And Elois says that light will stay on here at 2518 Jefferson Street.
And we're
That was a gift to me, and she is a gift to all of Nashville. I'm grateful.
Good evening. Developing right now, a search is underway for 4 teenagers who escaped from the downtown juvenile detention center.
Here's what we know from police on these escaped teens' background with law enforcement. 16-year-old Decorius Wright, he's one of 5 accused in the murder of musician Kyle Yorletz. This is video from the scene right here from February earlier this year. Morris Marsh was also being held on murder charges of another teen in April of this year. That happened on Lamont Drive. 17-year-old Brandon Carruthers and 15-year-old Calvin House both have a history of armed robbery and gun possession charges. Now, House was just recently arrested just over a week ago for auto theft.
The big takeaways here, I think the first one is that Metro Police believe that once these teens were outside of the juvenile detention center, that they did have help, and they still are getting help as they are still at large, of course, in the communities. They said that they are very familiar with these 4 teens, and they're familiar who they associate themselves with in the community. So they have been in contact with those people.
There's individuals in the community who know where these 4 juveniles are. We asked for their assistance, 2 of which are accused of homicide. The other 2 have past issues with firearms and robberies. So we're not talking about juveniles that have loitered or curfew violations. We're talking about some serious crimes.
Now to the answers as to how in the world it happened.
News 4 Chief Investigator Jeremy Finley obtained a 911 call that really should tell us just how this all unfolded.
Tom, make no mistake, the administrators of this facility are not pleased tonight. Before what's now become a citywide search for escapees, it was a worst-case scenario in a contract between the city and the company Youth Opportunity. Look, if there's an escape, the contractor is to immediately call 911. Now listen to what the company's employee, the juvenile's own supervisor, asked when he called 911 more than 30 minutes after they escaped.
Do I contact 911 or do I contact the... Because I called the other number and just had me on hold.
New troubling details uncovered by News 4 Investigates. They show this escape is not the only one this year. Chief Investigator Jeremy Finley is here with what he's uncovered. Jeremy.
You know, obviously, Lauren, this video is troubling just how easily the four were able to escape on Saturday night. But internal incident reports obtained by News 4 Investigates show this is the third time this year juveniles have outsmarted their supervisors.
And we start with breaking news tonight. 2 escaped teens back in custody this evening after a few days on the run.
We know that 2 teens were caught outside here at the Robin Hood condo complex, and police got some very good information the 2 would be in this area. And when they got to the condo complex, they were in the parking lot here. Now, from there, police say they tried to run away but didn't get very far. This has been an all-hands-on-deck effort with 24-hour coverage in this search from police.
Today we obtained emails that boils down to this. The 4 juveniles that escaped and have caused so much turmoil this week should have never been allowed out of their cell that night.
4 people right now behind bars for helping one of those boys escape. Calvin House's sister, his mom, cousin, and a family friend, all facing charges now. Metro Police has 3 now of 4 escaped teens back in custody. Just moments ago, Morris Marsh was arrested. That teenager accused of murder was caught less than an hour ago with a couple of people in his car after a 15-minute police chase on Harding Place.
We want to show you a live look at that scene. Again, breaking right now. You're seeing the vehicle loaded up on a tow truck at this point. Now, our photojournalist on the scene was telling us that part of the windows of this vehicle was actually smashed in because police had to smash it in order to get the people out.
Metro Police have now arrested 3 of the 4 escaped teens. News 4 was there as police escorted Morris Marsh out of headquarters back to the Juvenile Detention Center. This is the video that you're watching here. It's video you'll see only on News 4 as he looks right at our camera. The teen is wanted for a murder. Police tell us that they found a car that they believe that Marsh was in and started a pursuit. It started just outside John Early Middle School, went into Rutherford County until they turned around and police were able to catch up with him at a gas station on Harding Place.
Since the arrest, we've been telling you of the litany of mistakes made by employees of the private company Youth Opportunity. Mistakes that allowed these juveniles to escape. Well, tonight we've uncovered another major mistake, as well as past errors that caused the court administration to consider severing this contract.
Here at 4 o'clock, TBI's most wanted captured today. The last teenager wanted from a detention escape 2 weekends ago is back in handcuffs this afternoon.
Carruthers was questioned by investigators not too long ago. The apartment complex you see behind me is where they found him at here in Antioch. Now, this is off Arbor Crest Boulevard, which is about 13 miles from the downtown detention center. Carruthers wasn't the only person arrested tonight either. 2 of his friends, a man and woman, were too for helping him out. Now, besides Carruthers, police found an AR-15 and several boxes of ammo in that apartment. Pretty scary. They aren't sure what the plans were for that. And a Crime Stoppers tip is what ultimately led to this arrest today. Police say it was specific, giving his name and the apartment building they found him in today.
2 of the escapees' former supervisors are also in trouble tonight, now facing criminal charges in connection to the escape.
And we just obtained this. In August, an employee allowed 4 juveniles to be in a single cell not assigned to them and compromised their security. 4 months later, that same employee, Tiara Fox, would become one of the 4 fired for making mistakes that led to the escape.
A home blown right off its foundation, that's not supposed to happen when we have the kinds of lesser tornadoes we've seen this year. But a News 4 I-Team investigation found it is happening in the mid-state, even to homes built to code. What Chief Investigative Reporter Jeremy Finley uncovered has storm experts questioning whether our homes are being built strong enough.
We want you to take this so seriously.
Not long after Lisa Spencer predicted it,
This is where we're seeing that rotation.
the National Weather Service moved in, documenting the strength of the tornado, quickly realizing something was wrong about the Christiana house where Angie Walker was killed.
The house lifts off the foundation and flips.
You feel that this house shouldn't have flipped.
You still have trees around in the backyard. This wasn't anything more than 125, 135 miles per hour.
So this shouldn't have happened to this house.
Well, in theory, it should not have.
It's a theory based on a scale used by meteorologists to determine the strength of tornadoes. 5 is the strongest, 0 is the weakest. It's all based on the damage surveyed at the scene. The National Weather Service determined the tornado that hit Christiana was just a 2. It should have just blown off roofs and snapped large trees. Not do this type of damage. Watch. This simulation shows it takes wind speeds of 115 miles per hour to force a home off its foundation. But a News 4 I-Team investigation found homes in Tennessee are required to only be built to withstand winds of up to 90 miles per hour. Look at this home from a lesser tornado in Clarksville. You can see it was forced off its foundation, but look what withstood: the trees in the very front of the house. You've got trees standing
Right.
really close to a house that was completely devastated.
Right.
That didn't add up to you.
No, that definitely did not.
We think that the codes to build houses to should be much higher.
Susan Millerick is a national expert on homes built to withstand high winds. Are the homes in Middle Tennessee in greater danger of falling in even these lesser tornadoes?
It's not so much, Jeremy, that we're not building properly. We believe we can build much stronger, but we're also building ourselves into riskier places.
Riskier, highlighted by this study, released just last month by the journal Climate and Atmospheric Science. The areas in red and orange are where tornadoes are increasing, with Middle Tennessee right on the edge. Experts say not a question of if this will happen to more Tennessee homes, but when. Jeremy Finley, News 4 I-Team.
It's time for the event of the year.
Tighten up, baby.
Music City's never seen anything like it.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Broadway is packed with fans from all across the country.
I know. Okay. Cardinals, baby. Go Hawks.
The players wait anxiously to see when their name will be called.
I'm anxious about what's going to happen, but I'm just excited and I'm blessed to be in this position.
It's T-minus 1 hour to the main event. Get hyped, Draftville.
News 4 at 6, working for you.
Oh yeah, the energy from downtown can be felt all the way here in our studio in West Nashville. Tracy Cornett and Lauren Lowry joining us live from Tootsie's on Broadway. On the streets below Tracy and Lauren, it is a madhouse, although right now there's a little bit of break in the crowd. As many as 300,000 folks could visit Broadway over the next 3 days. It's a pretty impressive start, and the actual draft hasn't even officially begun. We have crews all over Nashville. Joe Dubin is at the fan zone. Chris Harris is on the red carpet. And, of course, we've got reporters on the streets mixing in with tens of thousands of people drawn to this event. But let's head out to the middle of the action first. Tracy and Lauren standing above it all with one of the best views in the city.
That's right, on the top of Tootsie's. It is packed here, all 3 floors, along with all the bars behind us, all the way down Broadway. Fans are coming out here in droves, all getting closer to the stage. Yeah. And it's starting to get almost like a backlog,
It
right?
is. About an hour ago, I think we made it to 4th Avenue, and
Yeah.
I think people are maybe trying to make their way to 5th at this point in terms of how far backed up they are. I would say we've been pretty fortunate so far. Only a few raindrops earlier in the afternoon, and I know our team has been keeping an eye on that, Lisa Spencer
That's
specifically.
right. It is a tad bit windy, but let's talk about this incredible addition to downtown Nashville, and that is the stage. Crews putting the finishing touches on the myriad screens that are lighting up this entire city. It is spectacular, so beautiful. Lauren, all we need right now are a bunch of brand new millionaires to walk across that stage.
It's going to be the night of their lives, there's no
Yes, it
question. Also, the draft stage isn't the only place where we've seen the large screens. We also have a view
for you. For anybody walking across the pedestrian bridge, the vertical video boards make it a really flashy entrance to the main stage. And you don't even have to get to the main stage to see it. Part of the fun, too, on the other side of that pedestrian bridge, obviously, the Nissan Stadium, and the fan experience. And that's also part of our team coverage tonight.
That's right. Plus, there's free parking there, so we like that.
Right.
Our Joe Dubin is over there on that side of things here in our city, having a blast in that fan experience. He's the perfect one for the job, Lauren.
Absolutely. Joe, what kind of fun have you gotten into?
I tell you what, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in the city of Nashville. The NFL draft experience at Nissan Stadium is wonderful. We've kicked field goals, we've ran the 40-yard dash, we've eaten pizza, we've seen the Vince Lombardi Trophy. It's been one heck of a day. Right now, with the Pro Football Hall of Fame exhibit, look at this. NFL helmets, Titans helmets, bedazzled all the way out. Absolutely beautiful. As you can imagine, this Titan helmet right here is the most photographed helmet being taken today here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame exhibit. And then on the big wall over here to our right, they have all the helmets lined up perfectly, people getting their pictures with their helmets and everything. The cool thing about this, guys, there's so much to see and do here. It takes you hours to get it all in and to do everything. It's kind of hard to figure out where you want to go first, what you want to do. There's so much to do for everybody. Again, this is a Pro Football Hall of Fame experience. They have the bus of some of the Pro Football Hall of Famers over there. They have more interaction things that are going on. And the best thing about this thing, guys, absolutely free. If you come down here, everything is free. It's going till 10 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock tomorrow as well. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Riverside tonight for the draft and then get over here on Friday and Saturday because, again, it's free. It's fan-friendly. There's so much to see and do here. It's one heck of a time, and we've had an absolute blast at the fan experience here by Nissan Stadium. Guys, it's a good time. I expect to see you two over here sometime this weekend.
We'll get there, but right now we're living vicariously through you.
And he's been doling out 20s to people who do things well, so
Bribery works every time.
We need to get over there. And honestly, if you're about to come down here and you're thinking, how do I get into all of this? How do I have fun? Well, NFL actually has an app for you. It's the Mobile Pass for you. So let's talk about that for a second. The app is called Fan Mobile Pass. It'll guide you through the experience based on where you are.
That's right. It's super easy to register. It just needs your name, your email, your phone number, birthday, and zip code, and your favorite team. That's very important. And then with the Fan Mobile Pass, you'll get in a virtual line. You can kind of watch the draft front stage. When you need to move up forward a little bit closer to the action, you can enter for prizes. All of that on that free app. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren. What's not free around here, but people are really consuming a whole lot of, is the beer. And I know that the breweries, the distilleries around here had to start planning months and months in advance.
Yeah, you think about it. Even the longest brewing beer takes 21 days. So a lot of the craft breweries just here in Nashville had to start planning for this months ago. And I talked to a couple of breweries specifically that were so excited because only days ago they were surprised to find out that they were being featured in Sports Illustrated as some of the top 6 NFL draft beer picks. Take a look.
Pull up a chair and try one, or several. At Jackalope Brewing Company's tap room on 8th South, they're ready for you.
This time of year is always really busy, but with the NFL draft, we knew we had to ramp up a little bit more. And so last month, we kegged 83% more beer than we had the month before.
And that's before they ever found out about the feature in Sports Illustrated. Jackalope co-owner Steve Wright says the magazine asked them to send their most popular beer, Bear Walker, for consideration.
We didn't hear anything for a couple months, and then actually just showed up in the article, and was as much of a surprise, to us as it was to everybody else.
The original lager from Nashville Brewing Company is also featured in the spread. At Blackstone Brewing, where it's brewed, owners are double staffing their taproom bar in preparation.
We talked about it kind of early March, and we started brewing for it probably late March.
Do you think people are going to run out of beer?
Downtown, I think people are going to run out of beer. We will have plenty of it here, though.
In Tennessee, craft brewers can't deliver beer straight to a bar. It has to go through a distributor, but the brewers can help deliver.
We've been helping run beer downtown to the accounts, helping our distributor out, and just doing really whatever it takes to make sure that Nashville doesn't run out of beer during the NFL draft.
You know, the Jackalope owners actually told me a story from a few years ago when the Chicago Bears were in town to try to play the Titans, and the bars on Broadway ran out of beer. And they said that the distributors remember that day, and they are very keen on avoiding something like that happening, especially when the eyes of the NFL world are on Nashville these next few days. You don't want to run out of suds.
Yes. History cannot be repeated.
Not in this case.
When it comes to beer. Absolutely. Well, another beautiful aspect, of course, of this draft are the dreams that are coming through for all of these young men, or for so many of them who are here waiting to hear their name called. I mean, we're talking instant millionaires, Lauren.
Absolutely. And you know what? A lot of them are walking down the red carpet as well. Our Chris Harris, part of our sports team, is down there now. I imagine you've met a lot of great people so far, Chris.
Yeah, we have talked to so many just eager young men, you know, to get this night going. Because like you said, their lives will change forever once they get that call from an NFL team and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announces their name as a first-round selection. Now, one guy that we talked to earlier, I know a lot of Titans fans are interested in, defensive lineman Christian Wilkins out of Clemson. If he's there at 19, could be a very attractive pick for Tennessee. We caught up with him just a few minutes ago here on the red carpet. The Titans fans in this area that we talked to thought, you know what, if Christian Wilkins, you know, if he gets up 19, that'd be a good pick for the Tennessee Titans. Well, I know Mike Vrabel worked you out down there, and what do you know about the organization? How do you feel about these guys?
Well, yeah, no, I like the organization, love Nashville. You know, it's a great spot to be, I feel like, and just what they're building with the Titans is great. And I feel like it's a team that's going to be really good for years to come. Coach Vrabel's a great guy, great coach, and they've got a lot of good talent and a lot of players in the organization as well.
Sure. All right, well, that important stuff. Let's see what we got going on here.
Well, you know, something slight. You know, I'm out here representing, got the white Tiger Power Ranger look, got the white, gold, and black scheme going on. You know, there's a little something here.
Your number in there?
Oh, I got my number in there. You know, 42, very special to me.
That's good stuff, man. You got to dress to the nines when it's your big night on the stage, right? A life-changing event. Look good, feel good, be good. And that is exactly what Christian Wilkins is. Lauren, Tracy, we'll send it back to you.
I love it. Chris, thanks so much. Want to give everybody a live look down Broadway right now. It is packed with people. Over the last few hours, Tracy, as we've been standing here, there's just been so many more people filling in. I think probably every half hour you look down and say, oh, they're further down Broadway.
That's right. The draft starting at 7 o'clock tonight. Folks getting off of work and making a night of it, possibly an entire weekend of it. In just a little bit, we're going to be talking to a man who actually got drafted in a different sport. You know him very well. Vanderbilt fans do. Shane Foster. He was actually played for the Mavs for a while, but he's going to be talking about the domestic violence initiative that the NFL has wrapped their hands around and the amazing things they're doing with the YWCA here. So that's coming up in just a couple minutes. But Tom Randalls, let's toss it back to you for some more news of the day and, of course, a look at this weather.
No kidding. Tracy and Lauren, thanks so much. All right, if you're heading downtown tonight, you probably want to take a ride share. Attempting to drive might be a bit frustrating. So if you're getting dropped off, News 4 traffic anchor Melanie Layden has the drop-off points you want to look for.
Hey guys, a little bit earlier I shared with you some places you can park for free, but if you're taking an Uber or Lyft, some kind of ride-sharing service, there's plenty of drop-off points that you'll want to know about because it will require a lot of walking to get into the downtown draft area. Broadway at 8th Avenue, that's your main drop-off point for any Uber or Lyft. The Korean Veterans Bridge at Ascend Amphitheater, you'll also have those westbound lanes for a drop-off lane. Off of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Avenues, right between Commerce Street, stretching up to Church Street, that will be your location drop-off on that side of the downtown area. At Nissan Stadium, you'll also have Lot T for a drop-off point. And if you're heading in from East Nashville, Woodland Street at 1st Street. For a full list of these, along with road closures to watch out for, head over to WSMV.com or download the News 4 app. With your forewarned traffic alert, I'm Melanie Layden.
All right, Melanie, thanks. Now, you can see the energy behind us and feel it there. I can feel some energy here in the Weather Center, and hopefully that's not lightning or static electricity I'm feeling.
No, and, you know, good news is we haven't seen any thunderstorms this last round to come through, so that's very good when it comes to a lot of folks being outside. It's been breezy, though. I've heard a lot of comments about that. 69, and anytime you get a breeze in that, it does make it feel a little bit chillier out there. Here's a look at what we're seeing. Big round here, that's all gone, and those storms really diminished. Now we're looking at this next little round, but none of this includes thunderstorms, and it's mainly some lighter showers that'll be moving towards Nashville. Right now, just a few little raindrops here or there across Davidson County. A little light rain up here around Gainesboro, although also making its way towards you in Jamestown. And then we see some of the showers right here around Erin. They're moving toward the northeast, and a little farther down to the south, we've got this batch. This is going to be the area that's going to be moving into Nashville. It should be right around East Hickman High School around 6:13, over to around Fairview at 6:27. Continuing on that track, we'll take it over to Harpeth High School at 6:40, and Pegram right around 6:44, to Bellevue around 6:50. So what you can expect from this is going to be some light to moderate rain, and you can see that is not very wide, so it's not going to last that long, but it's making a beeline right towards Nashville. So I'd say by 7 o'clock we'll see some of those showers in the Nashville area. We expect to see perhaps even another round coming through a little bit later this evening, and that could give us some showers and thunderstorms. So continuing through the 6 o'clock hour, we'll see those showers getting closer to Nashville, and then around 9, perhaps an isolated thunderstorm in there as well. But for the most part, we're looking at rain tonight. Now, this is a front that's moving through. I'll let you know what that means for the rest of the weekend coming up.
Lisa, thanks. All right, one of the big issues the NFL tries to tackle every year is domestic violence. There are plenty of groups here in Nashville also working to eliminate the domestic violence from our communities. Let's go back out live to Tracy Cornett, who is standing by with a former Vanderbilt athlete involved in this very important mission.
That's right, Tom. Shane Foster is vice president of Amend Together. It's a relatively new initiative by the YWCA, really seizing the opportunity to have men in powerful platforms like NFL players take a stand against domestic violence. Thank you so much for being here, Shane. How does Amend approach this topic differently?
Well, for starters, we talk about changing the culture that supports that violence. We know that 1 out of every 4 women experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and men have been on the sidelines not doing anything about it. So this is an opportunity for men and boys to really get involved to help change the culture and make Nashville the safest city for women and girls.
So the Titans are kicking this off at the player panel on May 7th. You're training the rookies, the Titans rookies. What approach do you take that's unique?
Well, at the end of the day, when we talk about changing the culture, we're talking about changing attitudes, changing the verbiage that we use, many of the actions and behaviors that are everyday things that are happening in our culture that need to stop because it's still abusive to women and girls. It's demeaning and degrading to women and girls. So we're talking about how do we do that? And the Titans have an incredible platform that they can use to help us change that culture.
Can you give us some specifics that people watching right now can say, wait a minute, I don't have to act a certain way. I'm allowed to, because you talk about toxic masculinity. I don't know if people really understand that.
Sure. So when you say toxic masculinity, it's talking about women in terms of being objectified, right? Talking about their bodies, talking about what guys want to do to them, and cracking jokes. There's a lot of jokes that are happening that are not okay, and many men feel uncomfortable, but they don't step up and say anything about that. And so it's an opportunity to really step up and say, you know what, that's not okay, that's not cool, and we need to stop that.
Shane, I know you well, of course, as a friend, but why did you get involved in this?
Well, for starters, I've seen a lot of violence in my lifetime. Not only in my family, but as I've traveled the world playing basketball, I've seen it in every country. I've seen it here in Nashville. And so this is something that is incredibly important, not only to me, but to every single person in this world, because all of us are connected to at least one woman or girl who is a victim of domestic violence.
You're an awesome spokesperson. You've got a spring breakfast coming up. If you want to learn more about that, tell us about what that's about. Absolutely.
Spring breakfast is happening April 30th at the Music City Center. It's an exciting opportunity to learn about all the programs and the wonderful work the YWCA is doing to ultimately end violence against women and girls.
Shane Foster, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks really to the Titans and the NFL for what they're doing, taking a stand for women in this way. Tom Randalls, we'll toss it back to you.
We are so close to the draft officially beginning here on Broadway. We are live on top of Tootsie's, and man, you can feel the excitement already.
Yes, you can. We've given you a front row seat all night. We're going to continue here. News 4 at 6:30 coming up now.
All right, we are now less than 30 minutes away from the biggest weekend in Nashville all year. Months of prep work coming to a head tonight, and we're working for you. Our team coverage of the NFL Draft has you covered. Tracy and Lauren in the middle of the party, and there's a feeling of excitement that can be felt all across the city, ladies.
Absolutely, and you just see the people build and build. There are so many people downtown right now. We are live on top of Tootsie's on the 3rd floor. As you can imagine, it's been full all day, but Broadway is getting more packed.
In fact, let's step out of the shot for a moment, show you the crowds, not only on the ground, but up top. This is the rooftop of the Downtown Sporting Club, and you can see it packed out. There's crews, camera crews everywhere. There's actually cameras flying through the streets as well. But Nikki, tilt down a bit. Look at this. We told you about this. There are 4 hotel rooms here, just opened today at this spot overlooking Broadway. 20 rooms total. That's all part of the latest club here to hit downtown. And you know, Lauren, so many of these bars and restaurants are already sold out because the draft bought them, so they're closed to the public, but there's plenty of opportunity for the rest of you if you want to come on down.
Well, and you know, think about how many people are getting a VIP experience, namely the guys that are getting drafted tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Harris is live on the red carpet. He has more for us now with who he's been speaking to.
Yeah, hi, ladies. They were absolutely getting the VIP experience. Walking down here, everyone's dressed to the nines on the red carpet as they make their way towards the green room before they get drafted. One guy, you know, everyone looks so good. We talked with Oklahoma receiver Marquise Brown. We have to show you what he was wearing because, I mean, he did not disappoint. What's going on there? Bedazzled with diamonds? What is that?
Yeah, you know, just it matched my favorite picture from OU, and, you know, I just thought, you know, I'd give myself a gift.
All right. Well, and I just saw the smile, too, the grill as well, huh?
Yeah.
Very nice. Sparing no expense for this momentous occasion, right? I mean,
No.
that's incredible. Just the journey that you've taken to get here. How special is this evening for you?
Man, it's crazy. Just to think 3 years ago where I was at to where I am now, I just got to thank God and, you know, keep on working.
Yeah. So what's it going to be like to walk out on that stage and give Roger Goodell a giant bear hug?
It's gonna be surreal, man, because I've been watching, you know, the NFL draft since I was younger, so to be a part of it is going to be crazy.
Yeah, Marquise Brown's a great story. Receiver, junior college, then Oklahoma. Now could be the first receiver taken in the draft. His life and the lives of many other prospects will change tonight. Tracy and Lauren.
Oh my gosh, Chris, thank you so much. You think about how they're trying to really zone in, right, and be so focused on what they're about to go through because there are a lot of jitters, I would imagine. For people at home that don't know, Tracy's youngest son has played in the NBA for the last 2 years, and that concern, that nervousness, that's real.
Yeah, I don't know if it's nervousness because honestly it's so far beyond your control. For the players, it's for the parents that make you crazy. I had my share of wine draft night. I know when it came to waiting because you don't know. You're projected to go a certain spot or not, and you're just waiting it out. So these guys are going to be waiting. This is just the first round tonight here in football. Yeah. And yes, your life could change, but so much also can happen if you don't get picked. And you know, the future is bright for all these young men.
You know, there's one way for anybody they could blow off steam. Maybe, you know, we've got that NFL fan experience across the river.
Yeah, blowing off steam. That's exactly what Joe Dubin has been doing all night long. In fact, Joe Dubin, you're having so much fun out there. I actually got a text from Luke Cornett, my son, saying he loves you. You crack him up, and I know you're making everybody laugh tonight.
You know what, Tracy, Lauren, I may never go back home again. I might just travel with the fan experience for the rest of my life. This has been the most fun thing I think I've ever done in Nashville. I grew up here. It's amazing. We've kicked field goals, run the 40-yard dash, seen the Lombardi Trophy, seen Super Bowl rings. People, it's an amazing time. Now, I'm getting asked, what about the food? Let me show you what the NFL's done here. They have got all these restaurants, kind of little kiosks, you might say, set up here at Nissan Stadium, all local. All these are all local around here. They've done a great job. We have picked up Honey Fire Barbecue because Tom Randall's told me how great Honey Fire Barbecue is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. What's this called?
This is the Alabama Slammer.
The Alabama Slammer. Look at that thing. So good. They've been packed all day long. So, again, that's a really cool thing the NFL has done, making sure that some local restaurants get in on the action for the NFL draft experience. A lot of fun here. I'm glad I'm eating this now, Tracy and Lauren, instead of earlier when I ran my really blazing fast 40-yard dash, which was really cool. I know we've got video of that earlier. I'll tell you what, that's pretty nerve-wracking to do that because everybody's watching you. You're trying to run, try not to fall down. You're trying to make a good time. You're trying not to embarrass yourself. And absolutely, I did all those and embarrassed myself. So it was a good time. That's what's going on over here. Everybody's having a fun time. I think people are going to be on this side of the river tonight. I think Friday and Saturday, girls, they're going to be over here. It's going to be packed with the fan experience. Come down here to this. Absolutely free. It's a good time. Do the 40-yard dash, kick the field goal, and absolutely try to embarrass yourself. Back to you guys.
Hey, you didn't bite it. And you didn't bite it. I call that a win, right? He stayed upright.
I call it a win too.
Until at the very end when he was doubled over.
I call it something else. It was a good time.
All right,
though,
Joe.
right?
I think
good times.
I think the win that we can all agree upon is that we've stayed dry so far, right? Lisa Spencer, chief meteorologist, she's been tracking it all for us.
Keyword there, 2 words, so far. Because we are looking at some showers, so we don't want those nice Team 4 shirts to get wet. So make sure you find your umbrella, and you find yours too if you are downtown or headed downtown. It's 69 degrees, a southwest wind around 13. This is going to be light rain that is moving in, but we can see it right here just knocking on the door of Nashville and extends all the way down 65 towards Lawrenceburg. You've had some of the heavier rain there, but we've got just a sprinkle or two right now. But look at this. This is the first round that we've really had, good round that we've had throughout the afternoon. It's headed to Kingston Springs and Fairview, and that will continue to march eastward. You've got some rain over in Clarksville, too, moving to the northeast. But here's a timing on this one that's coming into Nashville now. Be around Pegram at 6:40, over to Bellevue at 6:46, to Belmead at 6:58, right here at our Channel 4 studios at 7:01, to West Nashville at 7:04, and to Green Hills around 7:04. And I'd say just a few minutes past 7 is when it will be headed right downtown for folks who are there. So this is our first round. Looks like one of the second rounds is going to fizzle out somewhat. We'll take a look at that second round and what you can expect for the rest of the weekend, because there's a front moving through. We'll have details on that coming up.
We will see you, Lisa, then. Okay, aside from the flashy stage and the cool stuff to see and do, there's one big question on the minds of all Titans fans tonight. Who will we pick? We wanted to know who you think fits the team's needs best. Here we go. So far, Christian Wilkins, a defensive lineman out of Clemson, and Marquise Brown, the speedy wide receiver out of Oklahoma, they're the ones leading the charge. Now, the Titans have the 19th overall pick, so there are plenty of things they can do. It actually includes moving up for a better pick or moving down for more picks. So far, more of you seem to think the Titans would be better off moving down in the draft for a later pick than moving up. You can weigh in on the draft debate on our Facebook page. And a fun fact about tonight, Taylor Lewan will be recapping the night's events. He's already getting the practice in with the draft board and having some fun with his big moment. It should be plenty of laughs. And the NFL knows how to embrace competition, folks. You may know that Avengers Endgame is playing in theaters right now, and it will likely be the biggest movie Marvel ever makes. The NFL took their promotional poster and put all the top prospects on this dramatic poster here. Who knows? Maybe one of the draft Avengers will become a Tennessee Titan. So here we go. You don't have to wait much longer. We are less than 30 minutes away from the main event. We've got more draft coverage right after the break.